The rainy season has hit the Kruger National Park in South Africa, turning familiar trails into muddy swamps. Sifo, a passionate conservationist, and his best friend Jonas are on a routine patrol along the grasslands. The persistent rains over the past 2 days have made things extremely difficult. Sifo received a report that a male rhino was trapped in the swamp. According to the locals, the rhino had been trapped for 2 days, and its strength was gradually depleted. What caught Sifo's attention was a female rhino patiently standing outside the swamp, not leaving her side for a moment. Perhaps that was the male rhino's mate, always waiting for it to escape the dangerous situation. Sifo and Jonas hurriedly drove the jeep to the scene, crossing many muddy roads. The rain continued to fall heavily, hitting the roof of the car with a pounding sound. When they arrived, they saw a heartbreaking scene. The male rhino was half submerged in the mud, gasping for breath. The female rhino stood not far away, her eyes were panicked but she was still silently observing. Sifo immediately jumped down, trying to wade closer to the male rhino to assess the level of being stuck. His feet were half deep in the mud stuck as if there was a strong suction. Realizing that the male rhino was very weak, Jonas quickly took a rope from the truck. They needed to tie the rope around the rhino's belly to pull it up with the help of the jeep. However, getting close to the rhino was always dangerous because it was still strong enough to thrash people if it panicked. Sifo used his many years of experience, moving slowly, loosening his gestures so that the rhino would not be startled. The male rhino snorted, his eyes showing fatigue but still sparkling with caution. The female rhino slowly moved closer, seemingly checking to see if the humans would harm her mate. Jonas stood at a distance, signaling Sifo to be careful, while the rain continued to drizzle. Sifo finally managed to thread the rope through the rhino's body, just enough so as not to cause pain. He tied the rope tightly around the hip, signaling Jonas to start using the cart. Jonas started the engine, pressing the accelerator gently, creating a slow pull to avoid scaring the rhino. The wheels spun, mud splashing everywhere, sometimes limiting visibility. The male rhino felt the pull, and it struggled out of survival instinct. Both Sifo and Jonas had to shout, adjusting the pulling rhythm continuously to synchronize with the enormous weight. It took about 15 minutes of struggling. The rope was so stretched that at times it seemed like it was about to snap. Finally, the male rhino's massive body was gradually lifted out of the swamp. It staggered a few steps, mud dripping from its body, then collapsed lightly on the wet ground. The female rhino immediately ran over, lightly touching the male rhino's horn with her horn, as an act of comfort. Sifo untied the rope, then carefully checked to see if the male rhino had any serious injuries. Fortunately, apart from exhaustion and hunger after 2 days of being trapped, there were no signs of broken bones or serious injuries. Jonas took out the veterinary first aid kit and gave the rhino a dose of energy-boosting fluid. Sifo injected it with a mild dose of vitamins, helping the rhino increase its resistance. The male rhino sniffed and closed its eyes as if to thank him for the timely care. The female rhino was still standing next to it, seemingly more reassured that her mate was safe. After making sure the rhino was okay, Sifo and Jonas stepped back, giving the two animals some space. The rain continued to pour, but they felt warm in their hearts for having saved a precious life. The two rhinos rubbed their horns together, a show of affection that moved the two men. Sifo and Jonas wiped the mud off their bodies, got back in the car, and prepared to leave the area. On the way back, they discussed the need to build more fences or give timely notice in case of heavy rain. They knew that saving a rhino meant saving an entire ecosystem. 4 months passed, and the rainy season ended, giving way to the dry summer on the Kruger savanna. Sifo and Jonas continued their regular patrol, this time with clearer skies. Under the scorching sun, the dry grass was golden yellow, and many animals sought shade under the sparse trees. Their jeep sped through the dusty trails, checking for water. Suddenly, a ferocious leopard appeared from nowhere, growling, chasing the car. Sifo was extremely surprised because leopards are usually quite timid around vehicles, not often attacking. Jonas quickly stepped on the gas to speed up, trying to create distance from the leopard. However, the leopard was still determined to chase after them, looking extremely ferocious. Its roar resounded, sending shivers down both men's spines. Sifo did not understand why the leopard had become so unusual. The car was swaying on the dry ground, dust flying everywhere, obstructing visibility. The leopard appeared at an incredible speed, continuously behind the car. Jonas began to panic, because if the leopard climbed onto the truck, the situation would be extremely dangerous. Just then, from afar, another cloud of dust rose, accompanied by a thunderous rumble. The two men were shocked to see a huge male rhino charging straight towards the car. Sifo shouted at Jonas to slow down because there was no way to avoid it. They thought the rhino would ram the car head-on, causing a terrible accident. The rhino rushed forward at an impressive speed, its horns pointing forward, like a sharp knife. Jonas braked hard, his heart pounding, waiting for the moment of impact. Suddenly the rhino turned, not ramming the car but swerving to the right. It aimed straight at the leopard, puffing threateningly, causing the leopard to stop. The leopard roared, as if it didn't believe that anyone else would dare challenge it. But the rhino still charged forward, its horns pointed high, ready to confront. In a flash, the leopard understood that it had no chance against its opponent's strength. It turned around and ran, running into the tall bushes, disappearing behind the yellow grass. The male rhino chased after them for a few meters, as if to make sure the leopard had retreated. Only then did Sifo and Jonas regain their composure, their hearts still pounding. They suddenly realized that the rhino that had just saved them looked familiar. Sifo raised his hand to shield himself from the sun, looking closely at the distinctive features on the animal's horns and body. It was the male rhino that the two had rescued from the swamp 4 months ago. Sifo recalled with emotion the moment they pulled it out of the mud. Jonas was amazed and couldn't believe that the rhino recognized the car as well as its benefactors. The rhino stood a few meters away from the car, snorting, its eyes scanning the area as if searching for the leopard. Sifo understood that it had recognized the dangerous situation and rushed to protect them. This was truly a rare act, when a wild animal turned to help a human. Both were moved to tears by the special connection between them and the brave rhino. Jonas reached out the window and waved his hand in thanks. The rhinoceros snorted again, then seemed relieved when the leopard was nowhere to be seen. A moment later, it turned and walked slowly away, blending into the vast grassland. Sifo and Jonas breathed a sigh of relief and leaned back in their seats, waiting for their hearts to stop pounding. The last dust particles settled, returning the dry grassland to silence. Sifo muttered, "I can't believe it, it really saved us." Jonas nodded, his eyes shining with deep respect for the rhinoceros. They started the car and slowly drove away from the area, keeping a safe distance in case the leopard returned. The whole way back to the conservation center, both of them were both nervous and proud. Today's story affirmed that sometimes, between humans and the wild world, there is an invisible connection. When they reached the gate, they looked back at the bright sky and breathed a sigh of relief that they had escaped danger. And in their hearts, the memory of that brave rhino will forever be a powerful testament to the gratitude and solidarity among all species in the Kruger National Park, South Africa. Dear friend, thank you for taking the time to follow the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us.